This is week one of a unit, and we call this week the hook. And so I wanted to, in this video, explain everything that happens in a hook and also why the hook is so important for sparking interest in a unit and really getting things going. And also, if you're a parent or another teacher, like what you can do to support the hook. In week one, we're starting a brand new unit always, right? It's a brand new theme, and while you can always connect one theme to a previous theme, it really does feel like a fresh start. When we start a unit, the very first thing we're trying to do is make sure that our students recognize, why are we doing this? What is the relevance of this? Who cares? In fact, on our unit guide, one of the very first sections that lists information for our teachers is a section called Why This Unit Matters, because we want to make sure that everybody in the room understands, why are we exploring this theme of light or philosophy or ancient Rome or statistics. The teacher, first and foremost, has to find that out for themselves. They have to recognize why this matters, because if they have the excitement and they have the energy, it's going to be contagious for their students, right? So teachers spend time before the unit starts researching, viewing, watching, reading everything they can about the unit to find out what is super exciting. And then they come in and prepare activities that are supposed to spark that. These can be things like, this could be a short documentary video, this could be a guest speaker, this could be a trip somewhere, like our students who just went to watch the whales migrate in Samana Bay to spark a unit on migration. These can be interactive activities, these can be, there's no really limit to what they can be, but the goal, of course, is to make sure that at the end of this activity or throughout this week that the students are like, yes, 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 I have questions, I want to know more. Another thing that happens during the hook week is that we find out what students already know. We have kids that come from all over the world, and so different kids have different ideas or even different experiences with some of these big themes. And remember, a unit is built so that a kindergartner or a PhD student can come to a different level of understanding. It's super common for someone to say, I know a good bit about that. To tell you a little story about this, I once heard a 10-year-old who was in an elementary unit speaking to a high schooler that was in a very different unit, and their high school unit was on reproduction. And the 10-year-old student said, but what if you already know everything about that, right? Which of course, we can laugh about that and realize even as adults, most of us don't know everything that we can know about that topic. But it gives you an idea of how some students can come into a unit thinking that they have a really strong base of knowledge, and then other times students are really being introduced to it. We find out what they already know, and then we do something really interesting, which is we find out what they want to know. We do a different variety of this, sometimes a wonder wall, different quiz activities, but we ask students to start telling us their questions, what interests them, because from there we can start designing activities, designing playlist activities and whatnot. Like when the hook, is successful, the rest of the unit totally changes, because then you have students really diving in and asking the types of deep questions, starting to come up with ideas for their projects, wanting to know more, wanting to talk more about this topic. And if the hook is not done effectively, of course, then it can start to feel like a very standard, who cares about this? Why does this matter? And that's where I think the family can come into play. When you get an announcement about what unit is going to happen, it is your responsibility as well to start looking at connections in your own life. Start looking at ways to sort of learn a little bit about this on your own, whether it's read a cool article, check a YouTube video, whatever it is that can really go, hey, I remember something about that, or I understand what I can talk about with my child about that topic. Because if they are coming home and they're seeing mom and dad are excited, they're seeing their teacher is excited, they're seeing their classmates are excited, it's going to spark all this creative interest into the inquiry process.